Hey booze, hey, do your blankets feel like super glue in the morning? Well sis, it's time to shake them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Wake Up Happy Sis. I'm your host, Leanne Dulce, here with my co-host, Sharonda Seeley. And we're broadcasting. Oh, don't be interrupting the intro, man.
Sorry.
Okay. We are broadcasting on KCCR Cityscape Radio, and we're here to change the narrative for our people because we're making sure that we are telling our stories our way. So today we're talking about something that's really, it's a really important topic in our community. We're talking about suicide prevention and mental health. And just recently, it just seems like I've been dealing with a lot of losses in my life and friends who are having losses in their life from suicide or other mental health issues. And so we want to make sure that we are giving you some resources, that we're giving you some tips and just our own unique experiences around this area so that hopefully if you or somebody that you know is in crisis, that you can help them. Right? That you can do as much as you can do to help them through it, to help them get the help that they need. Okay. Today, I want to welcome our guest. Her name is Maci J. Welcome to the stage. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling excited, refreshed. I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. So why don't you start by just kind of telling the people who you are and what you do?
Okay. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Maci J. I am actually a global speaker with an education company called the Diversity Org. And what we do is we connect low-income students with Fortune 500 companies to teach them about how to obtain high-income careers. So my goal is to teach people how to obtain wealth and have success. So that's pretty much it.
Well, and we definitely need that. We need that in our community. I feel like we are always the last in that attaining, achieving, and transferring wealth on to our loved ones, leaving a legacy for our families, right? I definitely want to see us get farther away from having to use GoFundMe's and things like that to support the end stages for our loved ones, right? We have to start building our own wealth, within our community, within our family. And it has to start with us,
Exactly.
So I love to hear that.
Yeah.
So as I said, today we're going to be talking, I'm trying to get our streams back up. We're missing a few streams this morning. So give me a quick second while I try to get our stuff back up and running because it's not being cooperative this morning. Technology will, life is going to life. It's going to do what it's going to do.
It's going to do what it's going to do.
Let's see. It's thinking about it. I think we're coming. Okay. One last one and we will. All right. We are live on all of our streams now. So welcome to those who just tuned in. You missed Maci's awesome intro, but you'll get to talk to her a little bit more at the end about what she's doing and where you can connect with her. You already know me and Sharonda. We're here every week doing all that we can to help our people to get through all the stresses, the trials, tribulations in their life so that you can live a happy, healed, and fulfilled life. That's our goal here on the Wake Up Happy Sis show. But today we want to really talk about mental health and suicide prevention. It's a significant issue that's affecting our community. I think now you'll be hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't know or have somebody in their family who's suffering from mental illness, and or someone who has attempted suicide or been successful with it. I, in my personal life, have had a few people who have been successful at their attempts at suicide. Some who have attempted and didn't, they're still here to this day. And I also have people in my own family who suffer from mental health, various mental health issues. Um, so this is an issue very near and dear to my heart, because oftentimes we don't see those warning signs, or we see them and we don't pay close enough attention to the warning signs, to the way that people talk, to the changes in their demeanor and their personality. And I don't want people to come out of this thinking that it's your fault that somebody committed suicide, that because sometimes you can do all that you have done, all that you have the power to, and they may still choose that option, because though that is their demons and their trauma that they feel they cannot work through. So I want to start by saying, don't feel like, if I had just,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we're trying to give you some tools and just some of our own experiences, so that if you see things, you can be a little more cognizant of what you're seeing, how that may be a cry for help, and maybe some avenues that you can go to get this person assistance, so that they can navigate all the things that's going on in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, that's telling them the world would be a better place without them.
Mm.
So one of the things that what I was looking at by the CDC says that among young Black women ages 15 to 24, suicide is the third leading cause of death. And I've been seeing recent posts where you have middle school kids, you've got elementary school kids who are being bullied, who are committing suicide. And that breaks my heart, that these are the things that we're dealing with. Um, so let's talk a little bit about, why do you guys think it's essential that we actually talk about mental health and suicide prevention?
Mm. Sharonda, do you want to take it?
I noticed that's what your statistic says, but signs are not always outward. It's my best friend from high. Leanne is always in my life, and she always
You
pushing
know,
sticky
this
shit around. And here we go. So it's not always the outward signs. My best friend from high school was on track to be the number one student. Uh, he was always like Leanne, just kicking shit around and just keeping me on my toes and things of that nature. And he went away to fam. I went away to the army. He was the militant one, like, why you going to work for the man and all of this kind of, I'm like, dude, you're built for college. I'm not. And so he went away to fam, and I went away to the army, and I got the call that he killed himself.
Mm.
And for the longest time I felt so, I guess I'm still a little angry with him that it was okay for him to uh put my feet to the fire and always checking me and all of this kind of stuff. And it was over a damn girl.
Mm-hmm.
It was over a girl. We graduated in 1990, and I believe it was maybe 1991 or 92. And he couldn't call me. He could not call me to tell me what was going on with what I mean, the smartest kid in the class, and he just
Mm-hmm.
it was over a damn girl. He was the smartest, the funniest, and he made a joke of it. Like if it was gonna be now there, now that I'm thinking about it, there was the clue. He said if I ever did it, I was gonna be butt naked with my socks on and a gun, and that's how they found him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, sometimes we don't know that it's that people are reaching out, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't because they feel like they don't want to be a burden to people. And when something gets in your head that says it would be better for the world if you weren't here, sometimes they don't even have the strength to reach out. And you know what I mean?
He
Yeah.
didn't give me a chance. He didn't to pull him back from the edge like he did for me. Our whole our whole life together and stuff. And that's why I'm upset because you did give me the chance. He could have went on to be the best of us,
Mhm.
and I'm mad because he didn't get to be a part of my life and my child's life, my everything. And it still hurts after all these years, over 30 years, about 30 years. It's not fair. It's not fair. He took the coward's way out. I'm so all over the place. Like, I miss him. I miss him so much. And just how does that, like when you think of people like Robin Harris, I mean Robin Williams, that the funniest, one of my favorite comedians, and
Mhm.
he didn't feel worthy enough to get help.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's hard when you look at people. I had a friend, and we were friends all through college, uh, and we had not been in as close of touch as I would have liked, but we still kept in touch every couple of months. Check in. And when I got the call that now, literally like 2 months before I had just checked in with him, he was like, "No, everything's great, blah blah blah." And I don't cry a lot, right? I'm not a big crier. I'm an emotional person, but I'm not a big crier. But when they told me that he committed suicide, his wife didn't know. His best friends that he talked to every day didn't know the struggles that he had going on. Sometimes we never know. Sometimes there are little signs that people give, but a lot of times when we're just talking, you see that person as one of the strongest people, and you don't realize that strong people crack too. And we need support. We need ways to manage the stress and the turmoil. And who knows what other kind of mental issues he may have been hiding. And the girl thing was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? We never really know what's going on inside somebody else. But the most that I think we can do is try to dispel myths and misconceptions about, suicide, mental health, and try to get rid of the stigma and the misunderstandings that keep people from getting help, that keep people from feeling like they can reach out. Because sometimes when you're used to being the strong person, they don't know how to reach out for help. It is so hard for a strong person to be the one to say, I'm struggling here. I'm one step away from some something. Sometimes you don't even know, right? And so I understand the being mad at him. I do, because when my friend passed, I was so mad at him.
Like you took yourself away from me. And that's the part that just, it's the ding, it's the zinger. It's like, how dare you? Like, I was so indignant with, like, I fight with him in the spirit. I'm like, wow, bro, really? That, you, that way? That way. We couldn't have, chewed the fat. We couldn't have got through this. This, all
Yeah.
things shall pass. It's the smartest guy academically, but dumb as hell when it came to girls. It's the, ah, oh my God, my God. And it's, I find that, okay, so the mental, okay, so nowadays, 30 years later, we have language that we didn't have back then, or we didn't know what to call it back then, or whatever. And it's like, you left us all behind so you could go and handle it yourself. And it's, it was just, it's just still too much even after 30 years. And it's it is something else to be in a headspace like that. The reason why I feel so strongly about this thing, because one of my cousins did it year about almost as long ago, and he had four small kids in his basement. They, mm, mm, mm,
And it's
mm.
hard. It's hard to deal with, right?
Oh my God, just oh my gosh. And
Well, what it makes me think of is as much as it hurts us, how much that person themselves had to be hurting, right? How they had to be suffering. I try to take myself out of the situation and really think from the standpoint of how must that person have been feeling that they thought this was the best course of action for them and for other people. Because I know people who have tried to commit suicide, and a lot of times they're just like they don't feel worthy. They're dealing with other traumas that may have come from childhood, may have come from wherever, that just kind of plant those little seeds in your mind that you're not good enough to be here. No one's ever going to love you.
oh, the devil is a lie. I hear you. I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he banks that you will never go and get help, or never be in the company of people that will grab you. Like, no, that's a lie, and I can prove it to you that the devil is a lie. And it's I was even inside my own head this weekend about, I mean, so much so I couldn't sleep until the Lord woke up my husband. And we're like 2:30 in the morning, and we're, chewing the fat about this thing. And he helped me to realize, like, you didn't do anything wrong. And it was my wrong thinking that the Lord, talked to my husband, woke him up out of his sleep, was like, she's uneasy about something. You need, wake up. She needs to talk to you. And I felt so much better. And the weird thing is, I knew the things that he was gonna say, but it was different when he actually said them to me, to be like, this is so much not as bad as you think it is, or it's not that you didn't do anything wrong. But I still felt stress or angst or anxiety, and it just stole my sleep away from me, all for nothing. All
Mhm.
for nothing. And so I wonder, well, you already know what would have happened. Like you don't need any help to help you feel bad about yourself. You don't.
Right.
And the devil tried it. He tried it.
Well,
And
he always going to try it. He definitely tries. What do they say? The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's
he
his goal.
may kill and destroy. He tries it.
Yeah,
But when
that's his
you're not
goal.
over here by yourself, and you're not over here by yourself, and here come your angels, here come your backbone, here come your guidance, and light gets shed on the darkness, and he flees. And
You know, we just over here talking. You got to jump in, Maci. You got
I'm
to.
sorry, Macy. I'm sorry. You asked me, and I just ran with it.
Oh,
I'm not sorry. Actually, I'm just not even sorry. So,
No, like
okay,
it's
your turn. Your turn.
taking this all in like has me like so emotional. Like I can't even I couldn't even say anything for a second because it
I
really
know, right? Like,
almost brought me to tears because you
Mhm.
start to
oh, we
reflect.
cried, girl. We cried. Don't. We should have told you not to, do a beautiful job on your makeup because you was gonna cry it all
Listen, okay, like,
off.
okay, so I'm kind of switching the tables a little bit because I feel like I was kind of a person that struggled with like the thoughts of suicide myself.
Mhm.
And I'll just share a little story. I've never shared this ever publicly. Like, this is my very first time even having the courage to talk about this.
Ooh, we
Um,
girl.
Well,
We
thank
heard.
you for, but
We
thank
holding
you
you.
for,
We
right,
holding you.
for sharing and feeling comfortable enough with us to share it
Absolutely.
with us.
Let
yeah.
you have it.
Yeah. Okay. So this was 2020. This is now 2023. So it's taken me almost 4 years to kind of get back to myself, get back to the makeup, get back to who I am. But in 2020, I faced a situation where I was a victim in a criminal battery case.
Jesus.
It was like
Mhm.
a 3-time criminal battery. So it wasn't just one, like, it was almost a felony. And I had to go to court for it and everything. And so the person, I was home alone. I lived by myself. All I had was a puppy. And there was a person that came to my place, like pretty much set me up. They got my address. They came to my place. They knocked on my door pretending to be someone else, and it was a different person. And so as soon as I opened up the door, they pepper sprayed me.
Jesus.
And so I had never been pepper sprayed before, by the way. And if you don't know what being pepper sprayed feels like, it feels like your eyes are burning, like it feels like your eyes are on fire.
Mm.
And so, I mean, and the person, they brought two other people with them. They brought a bat. They like literally came to my place to really like potentially end my life. Um, and this was really, really hard because after that, like, it was a whole fight. It was a whole like, they took my phone. I couldn't call 911. So I had to find like my iPad to call my mom to call the police because like I'm like, I can't see. I don't know what to do.
Right,
Like,
can't even go out. Yeah, can't even go and get help because you can't see.
nobody came outside, the neighbors, like it was just nothing. And so I really felt like it was kind of like a Tupac "who shot you" type moment because I was like, who do I trust? Who just set me up? Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I put water, when I put water in my eyes, it started to burn
It just
more.
intensifies.
Yeah, it was so bad. And so you would think, okay, like, okay, a fight, cool, like, but this specific like fight brought up, okay. This specific, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I can't, hold on one second. One second. Okay, sorry. My mom was trying to call me. I'm like, mom, I'm doing an interview. Anyways, and so it wasn't the specific like event that affected me. Like, I grew up in a dysfunctional, abusive household. My father was an alcoholic. So there were a lot of physical fights. There was a lot of violence. And so this specific event, this person who attacked me was under the influence of alcohol. So I don't know if it triggered like some
Mm.
downfall spiral in me
Mm.
because from that day forward, I went left. Like, I wasn't acting like myself. I was doing like, my behaviors were not like myself. And it felt like it was a cry for help.
Mm.
I was not like in like faith in any way. Like, I wasn't doing anything like that. I'm like, I don't want to face my feelings. I don't want to go to therapy. I don't want to do any of this. I want to go get a drink. Like, I don't want to live anymore because I can't believe that I just experienced all of this. And when I started to have a little bit of my downfall, there wasn't anybody there for me. Like, I lost all my grandparents. Um, I just felt like I didn't have any guidance. And so that's when I started to have like the disassociation. I started to be like mentally checking out of reality. Um, and it felt like, coming from the side of like the suicidal thoughts, it felt like to others, everybody's judging me. Everybody's judging me for my behaviors right now, and they don't even know what just happened to me. This person could have just killed me, and people are worried about that I just gained weight. Like, like, or they're, oh, she's not acting like herself. She's switched up. She's different. And then I remember I was crying every single night after that. And I was just like, I want revenge. I want to get back. I want to get even. You know what I'm saying? And it was really hard because I had so much resentment in my spirit, because I'm just like, I'm a good person. All I do is show, like, I'm a happy person, as you can see. Like, I'm always happy. But that moment, it was a fracture of like my light. Like, it went black. Like, it was just, it was nothing. And in that situation, like, it forced me to go to therapy, because it came with being a victim in the case. It came with some additional therapy, free sessions. So I was like, well, since it's free, like, I might as well go ahead and, you know, this is about, because I was always too ashamed to go to therapy. I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm straight. But then I started to feel this mental anguish. That's the best way to put it. It felt like anguish in my heart, because I felt like the hypervigilance was so bad. I could not trust anybody. Like, I didn't want to be around anybody. I felt like everybody was a setup. I couldn't trust my friends. I'm cutting off every person in my life, isolating myself, like, purposely, because I don't want to be around anybody. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it was so bad. And like, I remember telling my mom, I'm like, I don't get my purpose of being here. If this is what it feels like to live, I don't want to, because this is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like, I don't like the environment that I grew up in. I'm sorry, kind of getting emotional.
Nope.
All right.
Not sorry. We do not accept that.
Like, no, and I started to have resentment, like, for just the childhood that I grew up in. It was completely dysfunctional, that I felt like experiencing something like this was normal. And so I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And people just thought I was being like lazy. And I'm like, how? In the houseway, like, how am I being lazy when I'm fighting to live? And so that is when, like, I started to actually cry out in prayer. Like, I actually was like, God, like, you know, the only thing my grandma taught me was how to pray. That was like, I didn't go to church as much as I wanted to growing up. Like, there wasn't established faith right there, but my grandma always taught me, just, you know, pray. So I'm like, well, this is the only thing I got. I don't have anything else. And so, but you had to, basically, there was a waiting list before you went into therapy. So I had to wait like 6 months after the case happened. After the attack happened. And so, like, in that process, I'm spiraling. I'm like, God, like, please help me. I don't want to live. I don't want to do this. I don't get why I felt like I had to go through so much more.
Yeah.
All of my peers, you know. And it felt like I was really, really alone just during that time. When I go back and I think about how hard it was for me.
Hug that little girl, Maci.
It's all right.
That's why I say it's so hard to talk about this, because it's like, it brings me back, because I was so alone, and it brings me to tears every time I hear about it or I talk about it. I know I shouldn't cry, but it just got to happen.
Who said?
No, you should cry.
But it's hard to talk about. But I know that God had me go through that so that I can help other people.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, who have faced something like this, who have actually physically had to fight. Like, you know, the fight came to the door. So what was sent to destroy me was a setup.
No weapon.
It was like, and so that's why I have this fire in the background, because I call myself the fireball personality. And I was like, I was out for years. And, you know, I was like, if I'm going to come back, I'm coming back with all that fire that was burning in my eyes. I'm coming back with that same fire.
That's right.
I'm going to turn it.
He's going to use whatever.
Oh my God.
For his glory. He's going to use whoever and whatever to glorify him. And sometimes I find in my life, and it's you know, you've been taught, you're a praying woman, you've been taught that, you know, you got to go through to get to. And it's, I mean, you're not going to like how it happens. You don't get to choose how it happens. The only thing you get to choose is your reaction to it.
Right. And I could have in that scenario, like, let's meet up again, let's fight, let's do, you
Yeah.
know, whatever you want to do. But then the craziest part about this whole like scenario is that it wasn't the fight itself. I learned forgiveness in my heart.
Because
Um,
it's for you, not for them. It's for you.
That's right.
yeah, like, and the thing is that like I felt compassion for this person because my father was in prison. My brother was just released from prison after 20 years. Like, I've seen people in the system, and yet I still felt compassion in my heart for this person, because they ended up apologizing for everything. And like, I'm just like, whenever you're going through the case itself, and you have your prosecutors and what have you, they ask you, what do you want to do, like, as the victim in this case, like, what do you think is the best plan of action? And I'm like, it doesn't bring me joy to see somebody go to jail. It doesn't bring me joy to see them suffer more. Does that really help them? Like, if they have a family, does that really help their family? So like, I really like was like, honestly, I just want them to anger management, counseling, whatever it is that they got to do to get better for themselves and for their family. And the prosecutor was like, wow, like, I would not have felt that same way if I was in your shoes. And it's just like, it's because like I automatically have that mercy in my heart to give to other people. Like, I just feel like that situation changed like both of our lives, because even though this person attacked me, I feel like their lives were changed after that, because they could have
Because
had
it
a
could have been
felony.
so much worse. You could have never walked away from that. Neither one of you might not have walked away. I mean, that's God's work, to deal with that person. But because you chose to show mercy, because you understand that forgiveness is for you, not the other person. I don't know what it is. You decided that course of action to forgive and to show mercy because you didn't deserve it. Think of Jesus. He didn't deserve anything that happened to him, and neither did you, but they did it to
Right.
him. And
Right.
look where he is, and look how, girl, you see.
I mean, at the end of the day, right, to be used by God is to be brought through that fire, to
Yeah,
be wrung out
man.
to dry,
Literally.
okay, to be drugged through the mud, right? Because you have to have a testimony. People think, oh, it's supposed to be. I was listening to Lauryn Hill, and she was like, when God uses you, he's going to use you. It's not for the glorious things. It's the things that's going to hurt.
Mm,
It's going to hurt, right? But they say he gives his biggest battle to his strongest soldiers.
absolutely,
And the goal is
absolutely.
for you to come through that because he has something bigger for you on the other side. Now, I don't know why he does it. I've had times where I'm thinking, why me? Why
Right.
did it have to happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? And that to me is the wrong way to look at it, right?
Hmm.
Is what was the lesson in this that I'm supposed to bring with me to this next level and to share with the world? Now, I can tell you 100%, Macy, that would not have been my response. I'd have tried to have them put under the jail. I would have sent some people after them. They would not have walked away from that.
And that's crazy because like, like that same night, like my brothers are coming down and everybody's like, like gathering because they just found out that I just got attacked. Like, they want smoke, like they want all smoke. But the thing was, like, through time, I was like, I'm just tired. Like, I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of this case going on. I'm tired. Like, you just
Yeah,
get
I
tired
want
of
my
it.
life back. You want your
Yeah.
life back. And I understand, and I can see how something like that would make you feel like I'm alone. I have nobody. I can see where that spiral would happen because who do you trust at that point? Right?
Right.
Who do you trust? Whoever it was is somebody who knew where I live. They know I live alone. So it's somebody in my inner circle that sent these people to try to kill me because that was a death attempt.
That was
They
a
were
snap.
trying to kill you. That was a setup. That would
Yeah.
shake me to the core, but I'm petty. I'm super petty. And God knows that, and He loves me in spite of me being petty. I The revenge would have been there. I'd have been plotting. Don't think I ain't been watching all these murder mystery movies. I know how to move. I know how to move. I know how to move some things. Okay, I've been watching all of the shows. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I know what they did wrong. I be calling it out. Ooh, such and such did it. This is how I would have. And people think there's something wrong with you for that. No,
No, it's just like I
it's
feel like
just
it's real human feelings because you're
real
like,
emotion.
you don't. I want you to feel what I feel, like pretty much, like
But
this
that's the
pain.
hurt people mentality. And that's the mentality we don't want to have. Because if all you're doing is giving back exactly what is given to you, there can be no resolution, there can be no peace, and there really can't be any healing, right? You can't heal when you're angry.
It just keeps going.
It keeps it going, and you're living in that moment. I don't want to live in those moments. Now, me, I may joke around. I am super petty though. I really am. But my goal is never to hurt somebody else
Right.
intentionally. Now, some people deserve to be hurt. Period. You mess with little kids, you mess with babies and dogs and stuff like that, animals, you deserve to be hurt. But my goal is never to hurt somebody. It's for me to look inward and see how I can be better. What did I do that may have caused this? And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it is that other person's insecurities, it's their fear, it's their self-hate that they're putting on you. And I want people who may be going through challenges to understand it's not you. Do not take somebody else's agenda for your life and make it your agenda for your life. We have to get, what do we call it, like thick skin, because people are always going to come at you. Somebody's always going to hate you. And I really applaud you for being like, I want them to get help. Because I would have said, I want them under the fucking jail. But that would have been my pain speaking.
That was
Right?
my initial reaction.
Mhm.
Under
Yeah.
the jail, please.
Hmm. How
Under.
have you healed, Maci?
Huh?
How have you healed you today,
Oh,
2023?
wait, before we do that, we got to do a little station identification. And then we're going to come back and we are going to learn how you took all of that pain and hurt and was able to turn it around for yourself so that you can be here today. So, learn a little bit about our Brownstone Worldwide cruise that we got coming up in 2024.
Ready to swap your daily grind for some ocean waves and sunshine? Then join Brownstone Worldwide for the ultimate neighbors retreat aboard Celebrity Cruises. From July 21st through the 27th of 2024, get ready to make waves and unforgettable memories. Our all-inclusive package features plush rooms, drinks on us, complimentary Wi-Fi, and yes, even tips are taken care of. Bask in live entertainment, exciting contests, and be a part of the live tapings of Brownstone podcast shows. Venture beyond the ship with shore excursions to the stunning Key West, Bimini, Bahamas, and Georgetown, Grand Cayman. But here's the catch. These rooms are selling out like hotcakes right now. So don't miss the chance to rub elbows with your favorite Brownstone Air personalities and meet your neighbors in an unforgettable setting. So what are you waiting for? Secure your spot on this epic journey today.
All right, now go back to what you were asking, Sharonda.
So, Maci 2023 and Maci 2020. How have you bridged the gap? How have you rolled like Phoenix? That fire also signifies Phoenix to me.
Right.
How did you rise from the ashes to become Maci 2023?
Oh, I had to completely heal from the ground up. When I went to therapy, that was just the first layer. I started to try to address my anger towards my father, my anger towards my mom, just anger towards childhood. Started there. Then I was like, I need something more. I need something more than therapy, something spiritual, because I felt like my soul was still kind of crying out. So then I started reading the Bible more. I'm not gonna lie. I started to pray more. learning about my own gifts, because like I started to awaken prophetically about like God started to show me things in my dreams. So I started to realize, okay, so what's my anointing? What, okay, you know, you're getting more dreams about things. I started to dream about things from the Bible before I read the Bible. I'm like, okay, this ain't making sense. I need to talk to somebody. So then I started to ask my pastor. I was like, do you know what this means? Because I'm getting these dreams and it's weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. So he was like, okay, go to this book. So then I started to look at Joseph in the Bible. And Joseph was like someone who I aligned with, like spot on. And I started to realize, okay, so there's similarities in our lives. And so it started to go from like, woe is me, to like, hold on. It was like, it kind of caught my attention that there's something important here. Everything is happening for a reason, every detail. And so then I started to think about the details of that night. Like, I had a yellow shirt on when I was attacked. There was red blood on my shirt. And so I thought about the colors of a flame. I had yellow, red, and red plus yellow is orange. So I was like, okay, flame, fire, fire. And I started to get hungry to help other people, because I'm like, now that I'm healed, I want to help other people be healed too, because it cannot just be me. Like, I can't just be healed and I'm fine and everybody else, y'all got it. Like, so then I started to, okay, so how will I be able to help people? Like, I've always loved to communicate. I used to do pageants. You know, I still love to do pageants, by the way. But I had to take a break from all my passions for like several years, because I'm like, I can't do anything until I'm healed, because my mind is not right. And so I'm like, okay, I want to be a speaker, but like I want to speak with something that has depth, like something that means something. So I was praying to God, okay, wisdom is what I need to help. Like, I'm like, I'm weak. I can barely talk about this, you know, from 2020 to now. Every time I talked about it, I would cry. Still, obviously, when I talk about it, I start to kind of cry. But every time I talk about it, I get stronger. So I realized that I am definitely a Joseph. My grandfather's name was Joseph. And I had a dream earlier this year. It was like, just to paint a picture of the dream, it was a setup like a funeral, and he was in the casket. He passed away when I was 10, by the way. So it was a setup. He was in the casket, and I'm just standing there. And as they're setting up for the funeral, he sits up in his casket and he stares directly at me and he points at me. And I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here in the dream. And so it was a light bulb moment for me that you're about to resurrect and it's about to get active. Like, it's about to get real. And I started to feel this flame. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm so hungry to help.
Pretty good. You're doing pretty good.
Right.
Everything shifted after that, because I've faced betrayal after betrayal after betrayal, pain everywhere. And I'm like, God, there must be something going on. Like, I must be destined for something huge.
Got something good for you. Know it.
Something keeps trying to destroy me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm about to fight back. That's when this year was like, I'm fighting back. I don't care who's in the way. I don't care. It's like each year I got stronger. And then this year is when I fought back. And when you fight back, it's like, give me back my confidence. Give me back my strength. Like,
everything you stole, I want it back.
Yes.
I want my stuff.
Run it back, because I suffered for this. And everything that I suffered for now, like, I'm in a global speaker position now. Like, this is fresh. This is so fresh. And that's why I'm like, I'm here today. And I'm so excited to just be here with you guys, because like, this is a part of the resurrection, you know. And I just announced that I'm a global speaker, and now it's like, let's get active out here. Let's do it.
Yeah, as you said, you got to be it. You've got to live it. You've got to be it, right? But I want to take a step back, because I want to make sure that what we're sharing here also includes some things for people who may be wondering, okay, if I start to see some things, right? How do I know it's a warning sign? It's a cry for help, right? So some of the warning signs that I would say, if you're seeing these in your otherwise happy-go-lucky, very positive kind of person, then you might want to just check in with them. I'm not saying that means they're trying to kill themselves, but check in with them to see that they're okay. Do they all of a sudden have feelings of hopelessness? And that is their kind of speech. That's the way that they're speaking. So you're noticing radical shifts in their mannerisms, in their routine. They're used to be so very active and now they're not, right? They're starting to kind of shrink away from everybody, right? They're kind of isolating themselves. They have feelings of being trapped or unbearable pain, right? And they may, and sometimes they don't show you these things. You may just see little glimpses of things, right? But again, withdrawing from activities or people, if they're starting to talk, how do you say it? Like they're talking like, I've always appreciated you and loved you. I just want you to know da 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 da. Right? Sometimes when they start talking like that, as if they're not going to be there to say these things to you or to have these experiences with you, um, it's not just like good job, man. It's like, you know what? I've always really, really admired you for blah blah blah. I just want you to know that. Make sure you tell, like, why can't you tell them yourself? Right? Things like that. Noticeable mood swings, um, substance abuse. Right? All of a sudden, they seem to be drowning their sorrows in liquor, in drugs, and whatever. Or people who then strike out and become overly aggressive too, right? These are all signs that somebody may be screaming out, I need help. I might be spiraling and I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to get out of it, right? You have to pay more attention to our loved ones. And sometimes we don't do that. I know I'm bad sometimes with keeping in touch with people, and I try to make a concerted effort to keep in touch with people, right? But we have to also realize we're going through our own trials, tribulations, and dark spots and dark patches too. So you have to look for these things in yourself too. Sometimes we don't know that we are struggling, that we are on the brink of burnout, of all of that, right? So we have to make sure that we are checking in with ourselves and with our loved ones, our friends, our family, our children, because children are suffering too at schools. Kids at schools are so rude and disrespectful and uncaring and unfeeling, and they will. I've seen there's been rises of little kids committing suicide, 8 years old, 10 years old.
Jesus.
Committing suicide, excuse me, because they're being bullied, they're being threatened, they're being beat up, they're being mistreated. All of these things are going to have an effect on our children. We have to make sure that we are getting them the help that they need too. And just like Maci was saying, that shame that she felt about getting support, we have to figure out how to put that out of our minds. And we can no longer live under that stigma that what happens in our family stays in our family. We don't talk about our problems. That's what was hurt. Yeah, because that's what's keeping us hurt. That's what's keeping us in fear. And that's what's keeping us from moving on, moving up, and like you said, resurrecting, because we're stuck in this little bubble that says you have a problem, you better keep it with yourself. Only person you could talk to is God. And God's a good person to talk to.
Absolutely.
But you might also need to talk to that therapist.
I agree. I feel like just to add on to that, because I feel like I had to wait until something scary and tragic happened to me in order to go to therapy. So it's like, don't wait to go to therapy when it's that bad, because you're at the brink right there, because it was either I'm out, I'm checking out, like it's a wrap, or I got to do something. Like it was, I had to choose which side I was on. And I was like, well, this is going to sound kind of funny. I was like, well, I'm too scared to do anything. Like it was just the ideas, but I was like, I bet you that would be painful. So I probably shouldn't do it. Like that was kind of what talked me out of it every time. Cause I'm like, yeah, that'll probably hurt. So I don't think I want to do it. So don't wait until it's that tragic and you're faced with a life-threatening situation.
Yeah, I've thought about suicide before when I was younger, when I was a teenager. I thought about it. And like you, I was like, what happens if it doesn't work and now I'm all fucked up?
Ooh,
Right, you have those thoughts too.
Those are the things that honestly stopped me, was fear of what if it doesn't work and I'm still here, but now I'm here and fucked up.
I went away to the Army without in 1990, and so I guess basic training and stuff people were going through made them do such a thing, and they thought that tying a buffer cord around their neck and throwing it over and jumping off of a 3-story building. Yeah, the suicide attempt didn't work, and now you fucked up. Like,
Right.
And those are the things. And plus, I'm scared of heights, so I can't do that. Okay, so I can't jump off of something because I'm scared of heights. I'm not gonna do that. Okay,
you get a whole world of problems now, man.
Like, bring it down. I didn't have a gun or anything, so and I know I don't want people to think we're making light of this, because these are things that I actually thought in my head.
Right.
These are things that people go through. Right.
I guess these are the things.
Crystal, don't judge me. Yes, I'm scared of heights. Don't judge me, Crystal. We're not here to judge Leanne's fear of heights, because yes, I am. But even in my fear of heights, I will sometimes do things anyway. I've gone zip lining. Now, will I ever go again? No.
Girl, it's amazing.
I went. No, it ain't. No,
I mean the thoughts that go through our head where the ideations are concerned.
Yeah.
Like,
and the stigma. And a lot of times, sometimes our fear is other people judging us. Right? That's a major fear. And that is such a stigma in the Black community around not getting help. I'm not crazy. You don't have to be crazy to get help. And we need to be proactive, right? Therapy doesn't always have to be reactive. It can be proactive, so that you have somebody to talk to about your feelings, your thoughts, the things that are going on, how you can unravel some of the pain, the hurt, the trauma that has been thrust upon you, that, like I say, is you've been locking all these things away in little pieces of your soul. That little 5-year-old girl who was molested or who was abused or whatever, that still doesn't feel safe. And every time something happens, it triggers something in your mind, and you go back to being that scared little girl. Right?
Yeah. I feel like,
how do we navigate that? We have to get help.
Let me
say this one last piece, and then I'll let you go. And sometimes it's a combination of people, right? Sometimes people think you either have to have a therapist or a psychiatrist or a coach, or a life coach, wellness coach, whatever. These things are designed to go hand in hand, right? They focus on different aspects of things to help you kind of bring yourself back to that whole, right? So I want people to get rid of that stigma, put those thoughts out of your mind that says, people are going to think I'm crazy, or I'm not crazy. I don't need, how are they going to help me? What are they going to, they're not here to tell you anything. They're here to help you realize what was happening and how that's resolved into your life, how that's become now a habit. Your trauma has become a blocker and a wall and a habit. It's a part of your characteristics now. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a part of my personality to be a bitch because I'm scared of letting people in, because I have a fear of attachment and a fear of people leaving me, which is a real thing for me, by the way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm with you.
Right. So no, go ahead. Sorry, Macy. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Like I feel just adding on to that, just thinking about okay, so how do we implement, you know, mental health into our day to day? Let's just say you can't afford therapy. Therapy is expensive. And I started to think about some ideas that you could do every day. I've been making it a priority to write down things I'm grateful for, at least three
Journaling.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Mm-hmm.
fostering more gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there's something that you feel like you're sad about or that's on your mind, I just write it out. I just write out how I feel. It doesn't matter how ugly it
Yeah.
is. Like, because you might not have anybody to talk to, so you might as well write it down. Like, and at least just observe like how your behaviors are, because you don't always have someone to talk to. So that always helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Is gratitude is such a great way to help you get through a lot of things, because sometimes we don't even realize all of the wonderful things that we do have in our life because we get so narrowly focused on these bad experiences. And I'm a believer in what you believe and what you would focus on is what you attract to you. So if I'm
Mhm.
focusing on all the negative things that keep happening to me, what am I drawing to me? More
Mhm.
negative. The universe doesn't look at good or bad, right or wrong. It looks at intent. And what is your intention? What are you focused on? That's what you're manifesting. So when I'm focusing on lack, I bring about more lack into my life. So
Exactly.
how do we turn that around? Focus on the gratitude. Focus on the wonderful things that you have in your life. Hey, I got a roof over my head. I'm able to pay my bills. I have friends who do love me and support me, right? I
Mhm.
have a dog who loves me unconditionally. I have whatever, right? These things. And sometimes the gratitude is looking at yourself and loving everything that you see. It doesn't mean you don't want to improve upon what you see, but
Right.
loving who you are as you are in this moment,
I
right?
love it.
That's where it can start. But it also is getting help. Well, I'm always going to harp on getting professional help because sometimes we need somebody who is not close and is not personal to our trauma, that they can look at it from a third party. I have no skin in this game, so I can look at it. What's the word I'm thinking? My brain is not working. Right? I can look at it without judging it, without knowing you, without feeling a certain way about the people inside of it. I can give you an unbiased view of what I see from what you're telling me. And sometimes that's what we need is
Right.
somebody who can get us out of our head and out of our heart and out of our feelings so that we can look at something without that cover, right? Because sometimes that it makes it hard, right? What was I watching? What's the show? Zatima. Now I don't watch TV. I watch this on Facebook. It happens to come on Facebook. I see clips. But
Mhm.
there was an issue that came up with the guy Zach about his mom. She was a very big trauma part of his life. But if you said anything about his mama, he went off. It was an
Mhm.
immediate trigger, because that trauma builds reactions in us. And we have to work hard so that the triggers don't cause those reactions anymore. We have the ability to control them, but we have to learn how to control them. Because when all you've known is how to survive, when all you've known is trauma, when all you've known is trouble, Kirk Franklin said something. If you guys have not watched Kirk Franklin's
Father's
documentary
Day.
on YouTube called
Father's.
Father's Day,
Mm-hmm.
you need to watch it. I'm not a big crier, but I cried.
I just heard about it today. Mm-hmm.
But he said one thing. He said, we become indoctrinated in trauma. We become institutionalized in our trauma.
Yeah.
And we, what did he say? He said, we ask ourselves, what what would I look like well because I've only known myself broken? When
Mm-hmm.
he said that,
That part.
that was That's how most of us live our lives. We are so used to being broken and to function in that brokenness. That's all we know. We can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel's dark. At the end of the tunnel is a damn wall in our minds because that's all we see is our trauma and our struggle. And there are ways that we can get out of it. Mindfulness is a great way to help you work through things because it allows you, it focuses on you being present. Not what if I had done this instead, not I wish this had, not what if this, what if that, why did this. It's being present in the moment, focusing on how I look, feel, think, act in this moment. Yes, I'm mad. I'm not judging mad, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of, well, why do I feel mad? What happened that made me feel mad in this moment, or that made me feel sad, that made me feel useless? And those are the things that you then take to your wellness coach or your therapist and say, hey, I think I have some issues around this because this is what happened. Keep a log of the things that happen in your day. You'll start to see patterns. Oh, this is a trigger for me. Because sometimes we don't really know our trigger. We just know we get mad. We get upset. This hurts our feelings, whatever. But if you start to write about these things, keep a journal, keep it on your phone, do a voice note, something, so you can start to see the patterns, because that's going to be important. Those patterns are going to be your triggers. And once you know your triggers, you know the devil in front of you. And now you can find ways to react differently, right? And build a support network. I will say this all the time. Your tribe is sometimes what keeps you from suicide. It's the people who come and who will pick you up off the ground, out the mud.
That you gotta
They're
let
not
them.
going to leave you there. But girl, get out of my head, Sharonda. I was about to say that.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me.
But you got to let them. You know, we have to let them. We have to let our tribe in and let them know when we have problems, when we are going through, when we feel like we don't even have the strength to get up anymore. You've got to reach out for help, because they're here. They want to help you. They want to support you. Right? And then you have to set boundaries with yourself and with other people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those boundaries are the things that will allow us to see who the people in our lives are and the role that they play. Because if people are used to using you, once that boundary goes up, trust me, they're going to go left. Mm-hmm. Because they no longer have that access to you. Because this isn't just about suicide prevention. It's about managing your mental health so that you don't get to that position. But I was about to hit. We out of time, y'all. Man. Time. This hour has gone so fast. That's how this show goes. We could be on here hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking.
We're not lying though. That's just
done it before
on air. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The after show sometimes be lit as the regular show. But I want to thank you, Maci.
Oh my gosh.
Being here today. Share with the people how they can get in contact with you.
Well, I have been trying to build up my online presence since I've been in this hiatus. So right now I'm working on my Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram at the Maci, Maci J. And that's it. I'm still working on a whole website and all of that. So I figured I'd keep it simple.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. So if you want to catch up with Maci, see what she's doing, get to know her a little bit, hit her up on Instagram at Maci J. Make sure you check her out. Send her some good well wishes, some love, light, and happiness, because that's what we do around here. And Sharonda, tell the people how they can connect with you?
So I know we were talking about mental health and the ideations and all of that kind of stuff. Well, it takes a whole mental thing to understand that you went into business to do your business, not bookkeeping. Hit me up at bookkeepingforlife.com, please, so I can help you with your mental health where your bookkeeping is concerned. I'm just saying.
Baby, because that's a whole stress. The books is a whole stress. That's a whole different level of stress. That's over here stress. It ain't even over here life stress. That's the other stress.
I'm just saying, I'm here
Okay?
to help. So, yes. So, let me help you with your books.
And for those of you that would like to learn more about Wake Up Happy Sis and all the things that we do, where's my link? Head on over and join the Facebook group. It's free, there's no charge. You too can become a member of the Wake Up Happy Sis family because this is a safe space for Black women to connect, to grow, and to thrive. We are going from surviving to thriving. We are no longer living in trauma. We are no longer living in pain. We are no longer living in guilt or shame. We are throwing and casting all of those things off. And like Maci and that fireball behind her, we are resurrecting. My goal is to introduce you to you, the new and improved you, the you that is just sitting on the inside waiting to get out. Because I want you to live your best life. I don't want you to live in shame and guilt. I want you to put yourself first and be okay with that. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to put themselves first. Well, what about my kids and what about my husband? And they'll be fine. They'll be fine because you were a person before you were a mother, before you were a wife, before whatever. And we have to take care of ourselves first. Everybody else is going to benefit from the things that you give yourself. When you are able to live happy, healed, and fulfilled, I don't believe in the concept of whole because life is a journey. You are never at the end. Healing is a journey. There is always something that can trigger you back into that trauma, but your healing is what helps you not stay in it, not be consumed in it, right? Oh shit, this is, I feel this, whatever. But now you have tools to get yourself back out of it, right? So, want to thank y'all for coming. What's our next show? What are we talking about next week? We're coming up on the end of the season. So next week, we're going to be talking about aging gracefully, redefining what it means to grow older as a Black woman. Because as you guys know, Black don't crack. Generally,
My mind again.
I've seen some cracked Blackness, but that's because they had other things going on. But generally, Black don't crack. Okay, we look good, but we want to make sure that we're growing old gracefully. So make sure you come back here on Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Tune in, join us, and hopefully Maci, you'll decide to come on back and do another episode with us. You're welcome to come back anytime. And anything else you guys like to say before we head on out?
Every day is different. Every show is different. Next time you come on, Maci, it's gonna be about something different. So today was quite heavy. I almost didn't make it, but the Lord said, "Keep on, keep on." But you need to show up today because what you got is gonna help somebody else because we are the test for somebody else's testimony.
Man, girl, you better say that. Where my fan? That was a clack moment right there, baby. That was a clack moment right there.
I think just to add on to that is just thank you for having me. This was really, really nice. It was really liberating to finally share some things that I have been waiting to share for so long. And I'm just glad I had a safe space to do so. And I'm ready to be back whenever. So.
Okay, then. Come on back to get you some of this goodness, ma'am.
I am ready.
Yes, you are definitely welcome to come back to any show. We will contact you, make sure that happens. So, y'all, look, half the day you're meant to have because I believe you have control over that. Not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. Make it your day. We will see y'all next Monday.
See you later.
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Wake Up Happy Sis on KCCR The Brown.